Shalom. All praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bashim, Yahushua, Bashim, Karkadash. Double honor to the elder apostle, great millstone, citation, walking, teach all truth and sincerity. I'm gonna start this off in Judith chapter 5, verse 6. It says, "This people are descendant of the Chaldeans. Verse 7 says, "And they shall join heretofore in Mesopotamia, Mesopotamia, because they would not follow the gods of their fathers, which were in the land of Chaldea. For they left the way of their ancestors and worshipped the God of heaven, the power whom they knew. So they cast them out from the face of their gods, and they fled into Mesopotamia and sojourned there many days." So this is talking about the nation of Israel. We're of the descendants of the Chaldeans. Because Abraham he's from that area. Abraham, Terah, Haran. Those are those. That's where our ancestors come from, that area, the Chaldeans. uh you know it says and we, as a people, we didn't worship those idols of that land. We worship, like it said, the power, the God of heaven, which is Yahweh. We worship Yahweh and followed after Yahweh's ways. And it says, I read verse 8. It says, "For they left the way of their ancestors to worship the power of heaven, the power whom they knew. So they cast them out from the face of their gods, and they fled into Mesopotamia and sojourned there many days. Then their power commanded them to depart from the place where they sojourned, to go into the land of Chaldean, Canaan, the land of Canaan, where they dwelt and were increased with gold, silver, and very much cattle." And the Heavenly Father told Abraham to go and sojourn in the land of Canaan. And Abraham, he became, uh, rich out after that. After he left from sojourning with his father and the rest of his relatives near his father, he ended up leaving his father's house to go sojourn in the land of Canaan. It says, verse 10, "But when a famine covered all the land of Canaan, they went down into Egypt and sojourned there, where they were nourished and became there a great multitude, so that one could not number their nation." And that's when the Israelites, the Jacob and the 11 patriarchs came to Egypt, because Joseph was already in Egypt. And Joseph had a dream where he told Pharaoh, he what's the word he told Pharaoh what his dream meant. And Joseph became second in command in Egypt, because he deciphered, or he told the Pharaoh what his dream meant, that there was going to be a famine coming. And a famine did happen, which covered the entire land. And when Joseph's brothers came to Egypt to get some grain, they weren't given the grain right away until they brought forth basically the entire family. I believe it was Jacob. All the other brothers came into Egypt because once Joseph showed that he was their brother, they sojourned in Egypt after that, and that's where we became a great nation, which we became a great nation, a great multitude in captivity under the Egyptians. You know, it says, verse 11, therefore the king of Egypt rose up against them and dwelt subtly with them and brought them low with labor and brick and made them slaves because that king did not know Joseph, and that king feared that we would overthrow Egypt and overthrow him because we multiplied so much that he could not, he got afraid that we would overthrow him and his people because we multiplied, and he ended up feeding our sons to alligators, to crocodiles in the Nile, you know. And Moses was saved and protected by Yahweh Bashim Yahushai and was given a chance to live with the Pharaoh in the Pharaoh's house as the Pharaoh's grandson, because his daughter said that that was her son, but she had Moses' mom be a nurse to him, and because Moses, that the Pharaoh's daughter knew that was a Hebrew child that ended up in that basket. But anyway, that Egyptian king, he put us in slavery because we multiplied, and he didn't want us to overthrow him. But anyway, verse 12 says, then they cried to their power, and he smote all the land of Egypt with the incurable plagues. So the Egyptians cast them out of their sight. And Yahweh Bashim Yahushua raised up Moses and Aaron to deliver us out of Egypt and to cast 10 plagues upon that place. And the Egyptians finally gave in, and we was casted out of their land. It says, and Yahweh dried the sea before them and brought them to Mount Sinai and Kadesh Barn and cast forth all that dwelt in the wilderness. And he destroyed basically the elderly of our nation in the wilderness, and the ones that were young came out. The youngest of our nation that came out was basically like 19, because the wicked those wicked Israelites that were old, that old generation had to go, basically. Verse 15 says, so they dwelt in the land of Amorites, and they destroyed by the strength of all them of Esbon, and passing over Jordan, they possessed all the hill country. And they cast forth before them the Canaanites, the Perizzites, the Jebusites, the Syconites, and the Gergesites, and they dwelt in that country many days. And we went through, well, Joshua went through that land, and he put his foot on 31 kings. And it says, verse 17, whilst they sinned not before their power, they prospered, because Yahweh that hateth iniquity was with them. But when they departed from the way which he appointed them, they were destroyed in many battles, very sore, and were led captive into a land that was not theirs. And the temple of their power was cast to the ground, and the cities were taken by the enemies. So when we departed from Yahweh and Yahshua's law, statutes, and commandments, we were destroyed. You know, when the Lord was with us, he was really with us. We prevailed against all these heathens. But when we departed and sinned against our power, he we were taken down and put in captivity. It says, verse 19, but now are they returned to their power and are come up from the places where they were scattered and have possessed Jerusalem, where their sanctuary is, and are seated in the hill country, for it was desolate. Now, therefore, my Lord and Governor, if there be any error against this people, they sin against their power, let us consider that this shall be their ruin. Let us go up, we shall overcome them. But if there be no iniquity in their nation, let my Lord pass by, lest their Lord defend them, and that God be for them, we become reproach before all. So if when the Lord was with us, we were invincible, but when we departed, we were basically lambs for the slaughter, and that's why it says in Scripture, we had to go down. We had to experience all those different captivities, all those different things. We had to go through all this to receive the kingdom at the end, to receive we had to go through our different things to like it says in Lamentations 4. I'm gonna get that right quick and then I'm gonna end it. It's Lamentations 4 and verse I'm gonna read verse 22. It says, the punishment of thy iniquity is accomplished, O daughter of Zion. He will no more carry thee away into captivity. He will visit thy iniquity, O daughter of Edom. He will discover thy sins. So we had to go through all these punishments, all these different captivities, all these different things to gain the kingdom at the end, to know what wickedness is, what is judgment, what is how to really judge a matter, how to, like, we had to go through this to see what exactly understanding on what this and that, like we had to learn these lessons just to learn how to maneuver in this situation and that situation, because you don't get taught, you don't learn something until you basically, like, you don't learn something, the right way to do something, until after you did it wrong, and then you learn you did it wrong, and then you do it the right next time. Basically everything's like cause and effect. So I'm gonna end it right here. I'm gonna say, all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bashim, Yahushua Bashim, Kakadash, Delbah, Shadel, the Apostle, Great Millstone, Citation, Lock, and teach all truth, sincerity, and shalom.